Hey everybody, it's Colleen from TInCanTarot, coming to you from home today to do 4 of Ethony Dawn's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge 2019 to try and catch up from being so far behind. So let's dive right in. I'm starting with question number 5, and that is, what cards stalked you? Okay, the cards that stalked me is 2 cards stalked me. And I think I kind of know why. It was more in the beginning of the year, and it was more as I would start to ask about where I should go, what I should be doing, and it would always come up the High Priestess. Now, I think that the powers that be in my life are trying to get me ready for what's to come in July. And what comes in July is the finishing of Tin Can Tarot trailer to such a state that I can start taking it out and bringing it on the road. And that will change my life in July. And indeed, it pretty much does. I did some journeying before that, and a lot of those journeys allowed me to actually start facilitate the path to finding the High Priestess when I needed her. It was kind of like working a new neural pathway and having the tools to sort of go in and find it so that I could get from ordinary reality, quote unquote, to the esoteric where I can be channeling the information that needs to come. So I think this was my guides getting me ready and giving me tools for what's to come, because it does taper off around July and August, that card. And I start getting some temperance coming in a lot. Sorry, I'm finding this to be quite challenging. This camera doesn't, anyway. Temperance comes in, and we're going to go like this. Hi. And Temperance comes in and teaches me how to balance the two worlds, how to go from my day-to-day into the tin can and to sort of start walking a new path, a new identity. Tink changes me in about September, October, to a level of people identifying me as a tarot card reader. Even the people who had known me for a long time would say, well, that makes sense. But now I get it. Now I see you. Now I kind of understand you better. And I start getting more and more identified as the tarot card reader. So that is the card that stalks me, and that's why I think it did. What deck, number 6, did I cross off my wish list? This is inside here, the Lumina Tarot. Yep, I didn't get it to 2018. And I got it in a trade even. Because frankly, I loved it. I wanted it. I drooled over it, just like I'm drooling over some of the decks that just came out this year in December. But I couldn't really afford it. And of all the other decks I was able to get, I could buy I can buy my Druid Craft for $12. So this is going to cost, what, $85, $90, something like that. So it took me a while to work up to it. And I had a couple of good sales in real estate, so I was able to buy a few more things that were on my wish list, this being one of them. And it's not in heavy rotation, but I do use it frequently. It's not a go-to deck. It didn't become my soul deck like I thought it would, because, you know, I thought the Magician, or is it the Knight of Wands, that guy, I thought he and I were going to get married. But alas, there were just too many differences, and we didn't. So, but I adore this deck. I am never parting with it. It's not like I regret it in any way, shape, or form. And I think it's one of those decks that is cyclical. It will be really powerful sometimes and not as in demand other times. And so I'm very glad I have it. Most worked decks in 2018. That's a little bit tricky because it's really much easier to identify the ones that I used the last half of the year because of what's in the trailer. And they get heavy rotation, like they're being used, right, 4 or 5 times a day for 5 or 6 hours a day. And they're just getting pulled out They are in demand. But I did use a lot of Victorian Romantic. I did use a lot of her, and I used a lot of her for romantic readings. And when people came to my home, I used it. It kind of was my very special deck. For a long time, I did use it exclusively. I still use it exclusively when I have it with me, but I don't always keep it with me in the trailer. This is kind of like my special occasion deck, which is probably not right, but I feel like it's been used more than any deck that I have almost, except for the Rider-Waite's, of course, already. So that would probably be one of my most used decks. When I'm not using that in Tink, I will always tend to have the Tarot Illuminati. And because I feel like it has that sort of magical sense that when people step into my trailer, I'm transporting them to another world. And this is part of that journey. It's pretty magical. It's pretty ornate and elaborate. And so it kind of is very powerful in its own way. It sort of takes over, right, our attention. And we look at what's in this deck and just go in awe of like, who are you? However, there are times when just a classic is needed, and I always tend to also have the Morgan Greer in Tink, and usually out on the table, as well as a Rider-Waite Smith. I will use the Borderless Centennial and the Pam Vintage Tarot. They're in the trailer. So truthfully, those are pretty heavy rotation. There's almost like two sets of most used decks, the ones I use for me and the ones I use for clients, because the clients are the ones that I'm not exploring and doing deep dives in. They're the ones that I can read fast. I can understand what they're saying plainly without having to kind of go around in circles. I have the Socerabito in the trailer, and I have Crystals and Unicorn in the trailer. I use that for kids. Sorcerer's Tarot? Spellcaster's Tarot. That's what it is. Spellcaster's Tarot. And I think that's it for now. That's enough anyway, right? Last but not least is, the top 5 wish list. It's not 5. It's not 5. It's 17. I have 17 decks I would like. I'll tell you the top 5 though, and maybe a few more. Is El Goliath is number 1. I know, right? I almost just ordered it because my birthday's coming up, but it's coming from Australia, and the shipping charges were whap-a-doodle. I was like, wow, this is what you guys have to deal with all the time. It is nutso crazy. So I haven't ordered it yet. I think I'm waiting for a little bit more of flush season for it, or for a bunch of friends to get it together on my birthday. Number 2, and it's only number 2, is because I can't get it right now, and I know I have to wait, and that's the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. I will get the one in 2019, but I wouldn't mind being able to start now. And miracles can happen, right? There might be somebody out there who decides they don't want it or aren't going to use it. It could happen. And I'm just here to tell you that if that's you, I won't tell anybody. You can just PM me, email me. We'll make a quiet little swap. Nobody will ever know the difference, and I'll be forever grateful. But barring that, I'll have to wait for the second edition. 3 is Textured Tarot. I think that's a deck that I could really relate to. Light Seer's Tarot, Bohemian Gothic, and then just quickly the 1869 Lenormand and Sacred Creators Oracle deck, John Bauer, True Black, Moonchild, White Lily, and Brady, Anna Kay, Arthur Rackham Oracle, New Choice, Anna Kay Lenormand, Alice Tarot, just to name a few. And I'm sure there's some I'm not even thinking of, but they're the ones that I've managed to get in my phone when I saw them and went, yep, remember that one. So I've done more wish lists than I should, and I've done more responses than one. So I'm pushing my luck. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to thank you for watching this video and hanging in there with me. And I look forward to watching your videos and seeing you all tomorrow. Till then, have a fantastic night. Bye-bye.